Yo, this man been shopping. There's like 36 inquiries just from yesterday and today.
He wants to do 0 down on the Cyber Beast.
All right, Cyber Beast. 0 down, almost no credit history.
Says he has great credit.
He has a good credit score. He has 794 and a 711, which is a big discrepancy. You want to give him a call and tell him I tried to call him?
I can answer all of your questions in text.
And it's fine. Listen, I'm not really worried about it, right? Tell him I need to know a couple of things. Number one, he has almost 20 inquiries from the last 2 days from car dealerships. Did he buy a car? Number two, he's not going to get away with 0 down. Most of his finance was a $23,000 car, and he's trying to bump up an $80,000 Tesla Cyber Beast. It's not going to happen. He's got to put 20% down.
So he's got a limited credit history, 1 vehicle financed, and somehow that turns into 0 down on a Cyber Beast. That's not how this works. To a lender, you're still high risk, even with a decent score, because one loan isn't a track record. It's just one loan. There's nothing that shows you can handle something this size.
To be honest. And also he's been shopping. Number three, can he put money down? Is that going to be a deal breaker basically? He's going to be between a 9 and a 14% interest rate. And he's probably going to have to trade in his open auto. Guys, what's really important in any situation, whether you're buying a home, getting a credit card, most lenders, most creditors are looking at not only your credit score. You could have an 800 credit score, but your ability to pay the loan is just as important. Having a credit profile like a 660, 670 sometimes has more favorable terms than having a credit score at 800 with a thin file. You can't go into a dealership with an 800 credit score, 750 credit score saying, I want 0 down.
I was just having the same conversation a few days ago with someone I know. They think because of their score, which is good, means that they'll automatically qualify for different things. But they refuse to listen about their credit length, which is only about a year old. They're only focused on the score and making the minimum payments on what they owe.
You probably can get 0 down on a $20,000, $15,000, $25,000 car. But if you're going to buy a luxury vehicle and you've only had a car for a year and you have 3, 4 credit cards and you've been shopping around, you got to understand that you're not going to go into any dealership and just get whatever you want. It has to be a process. There has to be a give and take. There has to be an expectation whenever you're going to a dealership, and then also be as upfront as possible to dealerships, because we're going to see your profile. We're going to see your credit report, and that paints a better picture to us when you tell us the truth, rather than saying like, hey, this is what's supposed to be going on, but what really happens is this.
Putting down the most you can should be the goal, not the least. And that's if you decide to finance, which I will never do again. Vehicles seem to be the one thing people go out of their way to pay the most amount they possibly can. Everything else we try to save on. Cars and trucks. Let's see how high we can get the total cost and worry about the payments later.
How long has she been at her job? This daycare center? For 1 year? Okay. Just to give you an idea, all my inventory is newer. You don't have to worry about it being an old car with high mileage. I might be able to help you with your co-signer. What's her pay structure? Is she hourly? Is she salaried? What's her hourly rate? 40 hours a week?
Yeah.
All right. As far as the down payment, what are you guys working with?
I have 1,000.
And as far as the vehicle, what are you trying to get into?
A sedan or SUV, any vehicle that would be 11 years up to this date.
Okay. It sounds like you're pretty open as long as, it's a good, reliable car.
Yeah.
Cool. Set.
I think a cosigner almost every time would be a horrible idea. You're dragging someone else into your financial mess just to split the risk. And there's a few problems with that. One of them being there's no upside for them. They just agree to pay the bill if you can. And that's a responsibility nobody should agree to. On top of that, in this clip, she's only making $13.50 an hour. Taking that risk with that income, that's not helping someone out. That's putting yourself in the same hole with them.
RSC Select, great choice in truck. You're at $1,009 a month.
There's no way that you can get a little lower.
MSRP on this truck is $51,005. Got $879 dock fee, $3 lemon law fee. The great thing about this truck here is that you've got $6,400 in rebates. You got a $3,000 rebate in customer cash, and it's truck month right now, so they're doing supplier discount for everyone, which is $2,445. Then you're getting another $1,000 on there for a select bonus cash, all right? So that gets you the $6,445 discount.
All those rebates might make it sound great, but it's still a $1,000 payment every month. And that's a price I wouldn't be willing to pay. It wouldn't matter if I could afford it or not, because once that payment's locked in, you're stuck with it every month, no matter what changes. And if I've learned anything, it's that your financial situation can change in an instant.
We do a title fee on there of $100. You're at $3,187 in tax. That brings you out the door to $48,729. You're trying to finance this truck, right? We just sent this over to the bank. We just got a call back from has got you at a 14% interest rate, okay? You're at 72 months, 14% interest rate, you're at $1,009 a month. Does that work for you?
There's no way that you can get a little lower than that.
How low are you trying to get to?
Somewhere below the 900 mark.
So
you can stretch the term a little bit.
Maybe we can consider that. It is a new vehicle, so sometimes banks will go to 84 months.
Stretch the term, get the monthly payment lower. Let's make it fit in the monthly budget. That's what it's always about. Not the interest rate, not the $72,000 you're spending on the truck. And not what he's given up just to make that payment work.
Your payment, especially at 72 months, like to lower it by $20 costs about $1,000.
Okay.
So you're looking really at like $5,500. We can try that. And a lot of people are financing 84 months these days, but your interest rate is going to go up. 14%, to be honest with you, is a pretty good rate considering your overall credit profile. If we were to stretch it, I'm just imagining the rate's going to go up by at least 2 points. So let's say it's 16%. You know, to go to 84 and the rate goes up, you're only at 974.
Yeah, that's not too far off.
How much money can you put down?
And there it is. Not happy with the payment, so let's pay more. I financed some vehicles I shouldn't have. But this is one thing I never did. I never went out of my way to stretch out the loan. I never looked for a higher interest rate. And I never paid more just to feel like I was paying less.
Probably just a couple grand. Nowhere near 5 though.
What's the max you could do?
Maybe 25. Also, I'm supposed to be getting a raise. Could I always put down an amount maybe later on?
Well, this is a simple interest loan. You can pay it off early. If you make payments on the vehicle and you just pay down your debt, you're just paying down the principal balance. You're going to finish your loan sooner.
If I did get approved for the 84 months and I still put down $2,500, I could potentially be putting myself in a better monthly payment and still pay it off early.
Paying it off early is always a good plan, but that doesn't always work out. I've planned for that many times. I told myself I'll work longer hours, cut back on things and make extra payments. But that's easier said than done. Very shortly after the purchase, it just becomes another bill, usually something you regret buying. And once it hits that point, you're not trying to pay it off early anymore. You're usually just trying to keep up.
Absolutely. If we go to 16% at 84 months, you're at 924.
I think I'll go with that.
Okay.
I love the truck. Yeah, sign me up.
I'm going to get some paperwork signed up for you. We'll print all that stuff, and then we'll get you into our finance office. They're going to go over like gap insurance, extended warranties.
That's when
all
the
that kind
price
of stuff.
goes up,
Yeah, that's
right?
when the price goes up. Exactly right. You know. Any other questions? You feel free to reach out to me.
Sounds good.
Great to meet you. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Save a little each month, pay a lot more in the end. TikTok financing at its finest right there. He ignored the interest rate and he ignored the total cost. Also, he could make it fit for something he obviously can't afford.
I promised myself that when I started sharing this journey online that I was going to be 100% honest and 100% transparent, because not only am I creating content for you guys, but this is also kind of like a vlog for me, so that hopefully one day I can come back and see all of the progress that I've made. With that being said, I cannot believe that I'm in this position again where my spending is out of control.
I've had a few clips from her in the past, in debt and working her way out of it. And if I remember correctly, she was on track and doing really good. But that's changed. It can be extremely difficult to stay on track, because it only takes one decision to wipe out a lot of progress and go right back to where you started.
I am so frustrated and I'm so disappointed in myself, and I don't know where to go from here. I am in therapy. I'm on medication. I am working on my mindset. I am listening to financial podcasts. I am doing all of the things right, but I cannot get control of my spending.
The biggest thing that helped me get control of my spending was the fear of where I'll end up later in life. How am I going to pay bills if I can't work anymore? Where am I going to be stuck working until the very end? I don't want to do that. It's difficult enough for most people to get by when they're young. I couldn't imagine doing that when I'm in my 60s or older.
Every single paycheck, I say, paycheck is going to be different. I'm not going to spend it all within a few days. I'm going to make it stretch the whole entire pay period so that I'm not stressed out before our next paycheck hits. And every single paycheck, I am incapable of doing that. I don't understand why I am so obsessed with spending money and why this is so hard for me.
I used to spend because I was miserable all the time. I had no hobbies, I hated my job. No good reason to get up in the morning. Spending money made it feel more interesting. It was something to look forward to. But almost everything I bought just made it feel worse, because I was falling further behind in life and deeper into debt with every purchase.
It's embarrassing and it's disappointing, because other people that I know don't have this problem. They are able to save their money. They are able to stretch their money from paycheck to paycheck. I don't understand why this is so hard for me, but I wanted to come on here because I'm sure that there's somebody out there who struggles with this too, and I just want you to feel like you're not alone, because right now I feel very alone, and I feel, like I said, embarrassed, and I feel just so upset and disappointed in myself because I keep wanting to get better, but I'm not getting better.
There was another time I realized things had to change, that my finances were out of control, and that to this day is still a really good reminder for me. I was driving down the road, no money, maxed out credit cards, and I was just thinking, what happens if my car breaks down? How am I getting home? How am I going to pay for a tow? I had no way, and that really pushed me to start taking things seriously.
Well, I'm 17, and here in about 2 weeks, I turn 18, and I gain access to a trust fund from some lawsuits when I was a kid for some medical issues.
Okay.
And it's quite a bit of money, and I was just calling to see, what do I go, like, what do I do about that? Like,
How much money?
it's more money than I've ever been accustomed to.
How much?
$3.5 million.
3.5 million.
I couldn't imagine getting that much money at such a young age. Honestly, I'm glad I didn't. I don't think that would have turned out very well. But the great thing here is he's looking for advice. So he's already thinking about it the right way.
Okay, are your parents in the room with you?
No, they are not.
I asked that the wrong way. Are your parents in your life?
Yeah.
Okay. Are they going to be helping you with this?
Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
When it comes to this amount of money at your age, it would do you a solid to have a long pause before we do anything with this money.
A long pause would be difficult to do, but probably the best thing. This is more than enough to set himself up for life, and a very comfortable life if he plans it properly. It's a lot of money, but at the same time it's small enough that someone who hasn't planned properly could blow through it pretty quickly.
And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to want a piece of this, who are going to be happy to help you manage this money.
Alex, people are going to come out of the woods. They're going to come off your roof. They're going to come out of everywhere.
Now, have you had a job before?
I've always had summer jobs, but I'm an athlete all year round, so it's just like a summer gig.
Okay. Well, there's only 3 things you can do with money. You can give it, you can save it, and you can spend it.
It might sound a little crazy, but I think he still needs to experience having a real job. Work 40, 50 hours a week. Living on budget and pay his own bills, even if it's only for a short time. On top of that, some sort of education. Something to fall back on, just in case that money isn't there one day.
And at your age, I would focus on the first 2 before the spending part, because this can easily become like Richie Rich style. You know, you're like buying the mansion, you get the fancy car, and at 17 years old, you still have like another, 80-something years to live. And so if you manage this well, you won't have to worry about money ever again.
It's something that I'd keep secret. I wouldn't be letting many know. Like they said, people are going to be popping up out of nowhere, and everyone is going to want a piece. Friends, family, people you haven't heard from in years. All with a reason, all needing help. And at 18, that would be a lot to deal with. That's it for this one. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.